Welcome to Vis-a-Vis. I'm your host, Victoria Voigt, and I'm pleased to introduce you my today's guest, Dr. Abdullah Al Rabeeah, Supervisor General of one of the most resourceful charity organizations in the world, the King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center, and former Minister of Health of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Mr. Abdullah has been awarded with a number of humanitarian awards for his immensely significant role in shaping healthcare and science. Stay with us. Let's get to it. Thank you for sitting down for this vis-a-vis talk. It's truly an honor for me personally and our international audience to be able to ask you so directly about the outstanding work your center and actually your country is doing in so many fields, in so many countries around the world. Tell me, what are the greatest challenges in providing humanitarian aid?
Well, humanitarian aid is not without challenges. The challenges there are general challenges and there are specific general challenges. Let's take with the bigger challenges, which are the global challenges. Humanitarian aid nowadays meets a big challenge of funding and resources, because we have so many demand on humanitarian aid. There are many conflicts, there are many crises, there are many natural disasters happening. But
due to climate change,
absolutely,
would you highlight?
I would say whether it is to climate change, whether it is to earthquakes, storms, you name it.
Of course.
But the other problem is that the funding sources are limited, and actually after COVID-19 the funding sources are becoming, probably with the economic also results from the COVID-19 is decreasing.
Yes.
So we live in a very challenging situation, which is the number one, funding. Secondly, the access to a lot of areas of humanitarian needs, especially in conflict zones where you have
limited
access, either because of the danger of the humanitarian workers or the threat on them from either party of the conflict. And the other challenge is also the mandate of the NGOs in the targeted countries. Some NGOs are politically driven, and they may or may not deliver the required. So these are the general challenges. There are challenges related to regions, for example, in certain regions in the world, yes, where there is I wouldn't say there is, for example, preference to one party to the other, interference from governments.
Yes.
For example,
or local, right? Political groups.
Political purposes, and also there are also some restrictions in access points in terms, yes, of adding dues, customs on humanitarian aid, and also the shortage of humanitarian workers, which are trusty and worthy. So these are the types of the challenges that we meet as
every
day. But I always say to our colleagues and partners, and also to the media, challenges are there to be overcome. If we say there are challenges and stand still, we will be actually subjecting the victims of those crises to suffering. So we should not leave, just say there are challenges. I think we should stand firm and find ways. This is where we have brains and thinking to overcome those challenges and find ways to reach those who are in need. And if you allow me, I'll give you one example.
Tell me.
Back in 2018, the city of Taiz in Yemen was under complete siege from all around the boundaries of the city. And people are on the verge of dying, especially in the hospitals where there is no oxygen.
That was back in 2018?
18. And there is no medications. So what KSrelief has done, we worked with very capable NGO to use the airdrop mechanism. So to overcome the siege by using the airdrop, and then use the animals like camels, monkeys, and pack oxygen on their backs, and then take it through the narrow routes in the mountains where we can reach. And with this clever idea, we managed to save many hundreds of lives and leave 4 hospitals working, and the patients who are in the critical care units continue to live. So this is what we need nowadays, is ideas, working together, partnering with each other.
Regional cooperation, I see, is crucial.
Regional and global.
And
both.
Global,
yeah.
From the global perspective,
yes.
Of course. We're not here by accident. You arrived to Poland with a very generous donation of 10 billion American dollars, and I heard it's the first, just the beginning of your generous help. Tell me, why Poland? Why Ukraine? Why does it play such a significant role?
Well, let me tell you, Saudi Arabia, through KSrelief, we have a humanitarian mandate to help those who are in need, and we work beyond boundaries, and we go with the international humanitarian law. So we not link our aid to race, to boundaries, to religion, to a color. Our aim is to reach those who are in need based on needs and not on selection.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, there is a lot of things between Saudi Arabia and Poland.
Historically, of course, we have historical relations.
Yeah, goes for decades, this relationship between our two countries. So this relationship is here to stay. And this relationship has improved over the last several years significantly. We have many things in common. This visit have enlightened me in how much we are close to each other.
Can you tell me?
Yes, we carry. First of all, let us go to the people of Saudi Arabia and Poland. We actually are very warm society. We accept people. We accept to help those who are in need. Let's look at the example of Poland. Having 5 million cross the borders, and the people of Poland are receiving them. This sends a message to the world that Poland has a people who are
inspiring.
Really generous, adapting, and also have a human heart. Yeah. This is exactly what we have in Saudi Arabia. The people of Saudi Arabia are very open, they are generous, they accept other peoples, they want to minimize the suffering of other people. One time in one interview I said, the genes of the Saudis are probably linked with a specific gene related to humanity. And I think Poland, I'm sure they have that gene. if it does exist.
I hope so.
Secondly, we also share economic values, political values, and also the twins from Poland that came to Saudi Arabia were very noble ambassadors of humanity that opened the eyes and the ears of the Saudi people and the Polish people about each other. With this visit, I have seen how much you care about humanity, how much you want to help, how much you want to partner with other leading organizations in humanity. And I think this is why we are here in Poland, because we have seen and witnessed, and I think we should capitalize on this similarity between our two countries,
Yes.
to build on better, strong relations in the future in all fields, but also in humanitarian work.
It's really interesting that you should say this. Also from the point of view that Poland is really the example that you don't have to be one of the greatest economies in the world, one of the wealthiest countries in the world, like your country, in order to provide aid. And I mean it by collective efforts of single individuals. I would love to give you an example. Private people would take refugees to their houses, and this is very unusual, I'd say. And this is how we provide it with our very modest resources, direct help to really urgent situations. So how do you think the cultural aspects play a part in taking such powerful, noble actions?
First of all, a humanitarian touch to me is not wealth and money. It is a behavior, it's an instinct.
Yes.
It's, as I mentioned, probably
Well said.
genetic,
Yes.
inherited.
Yeah.
So this is one of the things. Secondly, related to your question, I think the Polish people are, they value the family principles. Like Saudi Arabia, we value the principles. The family is important. Having a family, having connection with the relatives, with the bigger family. And those principles, yes, if you have very strong bonding in the family and you believe in the family, you must have a good heart. And then you will feel the pain of others. If you have children and you raise them and you see a crisis, you feel the pain of children. Because you have raised a child.
Yeah.
If you know you're related with your sisters, brothers, and you care about them, also you relate to the suffering of others who lost,
yes,
a spouse, a brother,
yes,
a sister.
Yes.
So I think
Agreed.
in Poland, and as myself, I have visited Poland a few times, I have seen that you value the family principles in Poland, and that gives you an added advantage to look at the humanity. In Saudi Arabia, family is a goal and a principle, and we value the family.
Is the fundament.
You see, for example, a son caring for a father or a grandfather in the age of 80, 90, and without complaint. This is something that you have to respect and raise a hat for those people. And we see them in Saudi Arabia and we see them in Poland, and it will not be surprising to see how much those societies, it will not surprise you, it doesn't surprise me to see them care about the human suffering and try to help as much as they can.
I cannot agree more. More than that, I think our reaction to Ukrainian suffering is really related just to that we really treat them like a big family, because they're so alike to us. And would you say that Saudi Arabia, your kingdom, accepted so many refugees over the years because you felt like you are accepting your family members in your homes?
I think so. You see, Saudi Arabia now hosts 1 million, but at a given time in the past, we have received from countries sometimes 2 million, 3 million, like what you have seen.
Yeah.
So people come and go. So we have refugees from Yemen, from the Rohingya minority, from
Yes.
Syria. So people, and we don't put them in for example, camps and in.
You don't?
No, they are integrated with the society, with the families, like what you have done in Poland.
Yes.
If you put them in camps, you isolate them. You actually penalizing them just
Yes.
to be alone. And I think this is why in Saudi Arabia we value the mankind and we respect the mankind, and that's why last year Saudi Arabia is the third top donor country in the world.
In the whole world.
And we treat refugees because we have seen their pains, we have seen their sufferings, and we want to be part of the solution for them, at least to help them and accommodate them, as you have done with the warm hearts in Poland.
As we're still doing, I would say, because the war doesn't see an end for now. His Excellency is first and foremost a surgeon, and I must ask about the 69 conjoined twins that you saved. How many of them were they?
We have
already?
seen over 32 years.
How many?
124 sets, and we have separated 52 sets successfully to date. The last was only 3 weeks ago, and we have now 2 sets waiting for us to be separated. And again, this is a humanitarian gesture from the government of Saudi Arabia.
Because let's say it to our viewers. You provide a free access to it in your country. We give them the transport. His Majesty, actually, it's not me. His Majesty the King. Yes.
He directed us to give them the transport freely, the health care freely, accommodation freely, and a pocket money
very
freely,
generous,
and the top level high standard care that is given to them till they go back to their homeland. Let me just give you how those twins have come from 23 countries
already. Yes.
So if we put a map, you'll find countries far away like Poland, and some as far east of Asia, and also Africa. So there is, and you look at them,
it can happen anywhere.
Exactly, and it doesn't link to color, religion, race. All of them, they represents all societies in the world, and that's why we think humans have to be respected, and one of the respect is to provide care to them. The Saudi Conjoined Twins program is a model how the government of Saudi Arabia have invested to help a very complex medical problem, to make it at least a relief for the family before the children themselves. And the family
thanks to the experts like yourself.
Well, I am only a part of it, but
you're performing those operations yourself.
Yeah, with my team. And those twins, they come with really a psychological trauma for the parents and the children, and they leave with a smile. And this is what we care about. Yeah. There's nothing better than having a smile in the face of a mother, or in the face of a child, or the parents.
How much of a miracle is it, and how much of a pure human advancement?
Well, for me and my colleagues who are in the medical profession, we look at it as a humanitarian touch, medical humanitarian touch, because you have alleviated a suffering of pure, innocent twins. Absolutely. And also removed the stress from a family who have come seeking for the help. So this is something, nothing in the world has a better reward than having a smile on the face of a children and their families. 3 weeks ago, when we separated the twins from Yemen, and they came with 1 bed, and they left the operating room with 2 beds. And the mother started to have tears of happiness. There are tears of pain, but there are also tears of happiness. And because she was shocked with happiness, she fell on the ground, and the cameras caught her. That, I call it,
that's a strong reaction.
Falling from happiness is something that is much better than any reward in the world.
That's beautiful that you say that. I also wanted to ask you, about the mental health, which is also a huge topic right now in the world. How do you support the mental health within your nation, with the laws, with anything that you do?
Well, mental health is a field that in the past many countries have forgotten to invest in it.
Absolutely.
And with the change in the world now, with the stress in the economy, with the changing world, the politics, crisis, you name it,
Yes.
there is a lot of stress on the people and societies. It is no longer just wake up and smile and have lunch and just work and forget. No,
not with social media.
Not with the social media. Now with the social media, you know what's happening in the far west and the far east, and you communicate with them. So it is really stressful society.
Oh, yes.
Now Saudi Arabia has, being an ex-minister of health, the government has invested a lot in the mental health program, whether it is in the physical capabilities or in the technical capabilities, and there are what we call preventive health, mental health. There is also counseling mental health. There is curative mental health, and to add to this problem, the mental health and the stress, unfortunately I would call it the cancer of youth is the drugs.
Oh.
Now children are
that is
having
forbidden.
a bad it's totally forbidden in the Saudi Arabia and many countries, but unfortunately it's still invading youth in the world. So Saudi Arabia has invested in also not only in applying, as you rightly mentioned, very strict principles to counter drug and drug trafficking, and also to ensure that we have
healthy society,
a very healthy society, to counsel against drugs, to treat those who have addicted to drugs, and you name it. But also now we are initiating in Saudi Arabia programs to face the stress on the societies, and we have at least in each region a big health institute and a smaller health institutes for the mental health programs in Saudi Arabia. And I think there is a lot of road in front of us to expand and ensure that the access to mental health is even better, especially with the digitalization that's happening in Saudi Arabia. I think we could do more with digital health nowadays.
I think every single country is facing the same problem.
Absolutely.
Actually, with mental health is a problem everywhere. Then I also wanted to ask about the future, because your country is leading in the development of technology, science. You're very well known for in these sectors. What's the future?
Well, we are fortunate in Saudi Arabia that we have a dynamic government led by His Majesty the King, but also the vision of the Crown Prince, who's young, dynamic, wants to have reform in the economy, reform in the health, reform on the services, digitalization.
Is he visionary?
Yeah, and so he's visionary, and also he is very careful in the follow-up programs to ensure that every government agency is doing its work. Yes. And there is also monitoring process for the executing. So in the Vision 2030 we have many planned big projects, as you mentioned, the economy, diversifying our economy and not depending only on oil, also on the youth, opening programs for the youth, opening job opportunities, creating tourism in Saudi Arabia, which in the past doesn't exist, building new cities by the sea with, we call it green cities, with all the technologies that goes with an environment-friendly cities. Those projects, they are good for the society of Saudi Arabia and those who come and visit Saudi Arabia, but also they are money generating projects which will probably ensure that the budget of Saudi Arabia is stable and not influenced by market prices of the oil.
I think it's very important to say that.
True.
Because your economy is very secure. And as we are now in Poland, I will mention Poland, but it's not only Poland, it's the whole Europe. I know Aramco is expanding its significance to Europe as well. Do you think it will help us fight the energy crisis?
By all means, I think the openness of Saudi Arabia to work with Europe in general and our friendly countries like Poland in particular is here to help stabilize the energy, the economy of the world. Saudi Arabia is being known as a stabilizing country when it comes to economics, energy, and there is nothing better than having countries like Saudi Arabia and Poland try to invest on the partnership on projects related to energy, projects related to economic and cross investments. No, because we have a lot of things in common.
Yes.
And I think you have a beautiful country, and I think Poland is, I would call it, a country which has big opportunities on the tourism. You have a big investment on the wellness programs in Poland, and I'm sure there is resources that with partnership with countries like Saudi Arabia, you will have nothing but to gain, stabilize your economy for future decades.
I hope so. I hope we will, as history shows, we will always be allies and we'll always support each other, because the gold or silver doesn't rain. So I really thank you for honoring me with your presence. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Thank you
All
so
the
much.
best.